I'm just checking if I'm live yet. Um, because it looks like it isn't. If I am, hi, we're off to a great start, everybody. Let me just see. Okay, I'm going to, okay, I feel, so what's happening is I'm going live, but my Facebook feed suddenly coming back and saying it's not available. So it's okay. Hopefully there's other people here. There. Now I see all the faces. Well, that was embarrassing. Hi, welcome to Saunf. We're off to a really, really great start here. Welcome to Saunf. I want to give a quick thanks to the NAC, especially Amanda and Spike, both who were exceptionally great in helping me. My cousin, the artist Dwani Chotalia, my brothers Sridhar and Nikhil, and my niece Shreya for providing questions. My parents for everything, especially putting up with me trying to get the show organized, and all of you for watching. Um, I want to take a minute to Uh, to let you know, I would love you to be a part of this show. So if you can post comments and questions in YouTube or on Facebook, and I'm gonna, it's the first time I'm trying it. Hopefully I'll see your comments and questions and I'll be able to bring them into the chat. We may not have time, but I'll do my best. This is my first time doing this, so please be patient. I'd like to begin with a land acknowledgement. And this is the official land acknowledgement posted on the City of Toronto website, which was written in consultation with Indigenous leaders, including the Aboriginal Advisory Committee. We acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We also acknowledge that Toronto, Tagarundo, is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. So as this is being watched online, I'm here in Toronto, and this land acknowledgement is about here. But for wherever you are, this acknowledgement is also about the place where you are. It extends to respect the many peoples around the world, present and past, especially Indigenous people who have suffered and continue to struggle against a system that oppresses them in the name of progress. Now, we are in a time of reckoning, obviously, and I hope those of us who continue to benefit indirectly from the pain and struggle of Indigenous people are able to move past guilt into action. Action to recognize past wrongs and swear never again. Action to commit to supporting communities becoming whole and vibrant. Action to help those elders who survive record their stories for the global archive of the great human story. Action to treat every human being in the world as our loving neighbor, and to recognize oppression is immoral and criminal, and no human being is ever illegal. To underline this point, I moved to Canada with my parents when I was 5, and I've lived here now for 43 years. Um, and we've all lived here as considerate and caring citizens. My younger brother was born here, and he's 10 years younger than me. So I've lived in Canada longer than he has been alive, because of this idiotic idea that those born here have an inalienable right to be here compared to those who struggled to get here and must jump all through hoops for citizenship, for the right to belong. That makes me a less legitimate Canadian than my younger brother somehow, or even my 2-year-old nephew for that matter. So what is Canadian? Is it a passport? Is that what makes someone proud to say they're Canadian? Or is it a set of shared moral values? And if that's what it is, then what about someone who shares the exact same values but doesn't live here? Aren't they Canadian as well? Or more rightly, aren't Canadians most proud of the fact that we are a humanitarian nation with a global reputation for peace? And if we share those humanitarian values with others, then are we not all of the same nation? So what right do we have to police borders? Is that not a great hypocritical contradiction? Stories is all we are. This Saudi patchwork blanket behind me, every piece has a story. My inability to speak Bengali means I couldn't understand more about the women in the collective outside Kolkata who made them. But the beauty of it is on its own. It's each piece is a clear chapter marker or stories, right? You can project whatever narrative you want on any of these panels. These women, like all women, are literally holding the space for me to be here. My mother is here supporting me on this show. Those of you who don't have your parents here anymore, this show is for you. My mother is all mothers. All mothers are all mothers, because the thing that links them together is motherhood. And the thing that links us is that we had a childhood. We may not have had a mother, but we were born. Life existing is a testament to mothers. Life continuing is a testament to mothers. And life exterminated is an attack on all mothers. There are mothers in Canada right now. The mothers of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls, and they need your support. And here's a place to start to find out more of their narratives and stories. Oh man, I'm not used to seeing all these posts. I'll check them in a second. I just have to put up this banner. Okay. This is a website I found recently that has a great many resources and stories. Indigenous people, as well as so many other people, are still struggling for justice. What's happening in America is happening in Canada, is happening in India, is happening all over the world. Mothers are taking back the earth and raising girls and boys who will change the world. So support them. Stories are all we have. And we have stories about each other. But sometimes those stories are stories that people have told me about you and you about me. We need to listen to each other's stories, absolutely. But first, we need to tell our own. My parents were worried that you might not be interested in their boring stories. And I told them that's absolutely not true. They're remarkable, funny, charming people, and I know you'll be delighted by them. They'll be joining me shortly. I don't know about my parents or other people who share that feeling that their stories are boring, but maybe no one ever told you your stories are important, and they are. And so here's a song about it. It's new, so it might be clunky, but no matter who you are, everybody's got a story. Like every light from every star, everybody's got a story. The adventures you've had, even when you felt down, you couldn't buy them at any price. The stories are your crown. You didn't ask, but here's some advice. Don't turn your tongue to stone. Just tell a tale, and without fail, you'll know you're not alone. Every success and every fight, everyone's got a story. We all gain from your insight, so come and tell your story. I didn't check sound levels. I hope that didn't blow anyone's ears out or blew your mind. I want to address the fact that we are in a time of story right now, and the media are writing narratives, and we are writing narratives, and there needs to be space in there for us to think for ourselves and decide for ourselves what's right and what's wrong, and to understand the past and understand that When people apologize for the past, apologies are not for the past. They're not about the past. They are about the present. For every person that I've ever wronged, if you can privilege me by believing me, please know that I sincerely, what I want is your happiness. For every person who's ever wronged me, please privilege me by believing that my desire to help you grow is strong. Forgiveness is effortful for the forgiver. The one asking for forgiveness needs to make more than the same amount of effort in order to understand the other person's story. Sorry, saying sorry means sorry for what happened to you then, for the rest of your life being affected by that until now. And when you apologize, you're saying, I am now ready here to begin to help you. And the first thing to do to help someone is not telling them what to do, but starting from the beginning on your own to understand their story, to watch films, read books and essays. And of course, you can ask people directly. Just do some work on your own. Because imagine if this talk show, imagine if I brought you on the show as a guest and you said, oh, well, you know what? You can find out all about my whole life if you read this book that I wrote. And it's not very big, but it's all the main chapters. Read that book, and then we can have an in-depth discussion about any part of it. And my response, if I get that, if I say, no, I'm good. No, I know a lot of effort went into making that book, but maybe you can make a little more effort and just say it all for me again. So I don't have to read it all, because it's a lot. And I understand for those who are increasingly challenged like me with reading all the time. I mean, I used to be an avid reader, and now I'm working towards making it a priority again. But in the meantime, there's YouTube, there's Netflix, there's Hulu, there's Crackle, there's Vimeo, there's Dailymotion, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Canopy. There's so many different platforms. And Canopy is amazing. It's free. You just need a library card. You can see exceptionally great movies. Anyway, educate yourself. People have even gone into the effort of making it entertaining. So the least you can do is just watch. Here in YouTube or Facebook, you can leave in the comment section your favorite links for other guests to see, so that this can be a collective archive for good ideas and for continuing this discussion. Speaking of the comment section, all critical feedback is welcome, but maybe take a second and ask yourself, do I really need to post this if it seems a little bit mean? If you think yes, and you post it anyway, and people come after you, I don't know, maybe that's what you want. Anyone who posts in a way that we all recognize as negatively here is looking for a fight. So for those of you who are my friends watching, don't engage. I don't mean don't engage with them to ignore them. I just mean I'm not going to take those comments down, because I don't want to censor anyone's voice. But everyone in this group, we are united, and we're not united against this person, but against the way that person is dealing with their pain. If someone was abused as a kid, maybe rage is a way they learn to feel love, and from any kind of attention, even if it's negative. So I don't want to give negative attention. If someone is asking me to be negative back, I don't want to do it. I will try my best to engage compassionately. And then if it's clear that the person is actually just looking to fight, I don't need to fight. I can put my energy into other things. And I encourage you all to maintain civil discourse the same way. And when I say civil, what I mean by that is actual discourse. You can swear if you want to, but maintain an idea that you're trying to convey. That's all I'm trying to say. All I want to do with this show and this platform is to give love to everybody. You don't have to take it, but it's here for you when you're exhausted from fighting so much. Feelings are important, and they're valid, and they're powerful. And this next song is for those friends of mine struggling right now in isolation and in relationships that feel like they are. Your feelings are valid. Keep breathing. Breath gets shallow when you're stressed. Keep breathing. This is a song called Gravity. Oh, I'm going to start it here. Wait one second. Nothing you can say to make me feel better. Nothing you can do I can go to shake off this shadow. Even through the brightness, dark breaks through. I don't know about the science, I don't read no studies of the brain. I can only answer what it feels like when I go insane. I don't know about the science, I don't read no studies of the brain. I can only answer. And at the end, what can I say? I tried to live and love every day, but then gravity takes control. At the end, what can I say? Tried to live and love every day, but then gravity takes control. And it would be easy to blame it on someone who had reins of my heart. It would be easy to blame it on someone, say they tore my heart apart. Well, I don't know about the science, I don't read no studies of the brain. I can only answer what it feels like when I go insane. I don't know about the science, I don't read no studies of the brain. I can only answer. I remember feeling happy not so long ago. I remember feeling joyful. Where that feeling go, I don't know. I don't know about the science, I don't read no studies of the brain. I can only answer what it feels like when I go insane. I don't know about the science, I don't read no studies of the brain. I can only answer. And at the end, what can I say? I tried to live and love every day, but then gravity takes control. At the end, what can I say? Tried to live and love every day, but then gravity takes control. At the end, what can I say? I tried to live and love every day, but then gravity takes control. I haven't been reading the comments because I'm going on a scripted part before we get into the interviews, but I'm going to check the comments after. So if you're posting anything, I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm just not checking them yet. I also want to apologize. I have the ability to turn this lens on and off. And so I intended to start with the lens off when I was reading the land acknowledgement, because there's nothing about that that's supposed to be performative. So I apologize for that. I didn't realize it. Now that I see this here, I was also going to do one other thing, which is give a small intro. So maybe I'll actually come back to the intro. Just thinking out loud. I'll go back to the mask. So stories is all we are. Everything we leave behind are like flecks of skin. They're stories, and they won't last forever. Some seem to, but we can't name anyone from 10,000 years ago in the way that they imagined themselves to be named. We developed language as a way to seek immortality. Before Gutenberg's printing press, there was only in 1440 CE, Christian era. So that's like 580 years ago. But we had handwritten language since about 7,500 years ago, sometime around 7,500 years. Between that and 3,500 years, there was a developing of these tokens, which people use, little token clay animals that they would use for counting things. But then they got tired of carrying them around and they would break. And so somebody thought, oh man, I'm tired of carrying these things around. So maybe we can invent a different system. So then they developed a system where they could actually just draw the image of the animal instead of carrying the clay. And that would be way easier because on one slab you could draw a bunch and it would only weigh that and not many pieces. So handwritten language goes back, we've imagined, I think around 8,000 years before Christian era. But before that, for who knows how many thousands of years before that, we had an oral tradition. And that was all it was. It was all oral tradition. And we needed elders back then, before writing especially, to tell us about life. And we still do. But we've lost the need for stories. And I don't mean Netflix or YouTube or this show. The stories I'm talking about are the stories that we tell each other. Just casual friends over dinner. That's not a common culture that I've grown up with. It's one I've actively sought after. And I'm not sure about your family. But that's what I would like this show to be, is by, for, and about us. Now, my parents are just about to come on, but here is one of my stories. This is a story. Oh, man, it's already half an hour almost. This is a story about my first time when we moved to Canada in 1977. We moved here in September, and it was just days before school started. So this is a song about my first experience of winter in 1977. This is called Winter Song. When I was 5, I arrived with my family in Etobicoke, which is famous for nothing. And we lived in an apartment building with a kid who wore a cape and walked around eating butter. He might have been Doug Ford, I'm not sure. He probably wasn't. Don't send me any hate mail, please. I just distracted myself. Walking. Sorry, I'm going to start again. When I was 5, I arrived with my family in Etobicoke, which is famous for nothing. And we lived in an apartment building with a kid who wore a cape and walked around eating butter. It was definitely Doug Ford. Now that I think about it, definitely. And I'd never seen anything but green. So when winter came, I thought that the clouds were falling. And walking to school in the wintry cool, these 2 older kids said they'd give me a quarter if I licked the railing by the stairs that was made of metal. For those who don't know, when metal gets cold in the wintertime, if you lick it, your tongue will stick and then it'll tear your flesh off your tongue. And it's a cool prank the kids like to play. So I licked the railing by the stairs that was made of metal, because I didn't know about that rule, because it was my first time having winter in Canada. And when I cried, it was because they lied and didn't give me the quarter, not because I was stuck to the railing. A few months ago, on the very first snow, I remembered that day by the stairs. So I did go back to Etobicoke so I could revisit that singular moment when I licked the railing by the stairs that was made of metal. When I was tricked beside the railing by the stairs that was made of metal. But the railing was taken down, and there on the ground I found a shiny 1977 quarter, and I licked it. Okay, that's a little bit about me. Now I'm very excited to bring you the stars of the show, my guests today. I also wanted to put up this. I'm sorry, I'm just figuring this out. I'm sorry. I also wanted to put up, if you want to support what's going on with the different actions and protests that are around and you can't attend a protest, donate. Please consider donating to Black Lives Matter for their legal defense fund and for other organizational activities. At this point, I'm going to play you a brief show intro. If any of you saw the video of me struggling with my parents to get them to learn how to use a computer, apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I'm close. I'm very close. Okay. Here, let's just pretend. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen and non-gender, non-binary and folks, let's say, here is welcome to Saunf. Oh, you know what? Sorry. False start. One more time. Welcome to Saunf. That music, incidentally, was sampled from the band Corner Shop. It's a terrific track called Top Knot with Bubbly Core. I really love it. I put this together last minute, so I didn't properly seek permissions. I'm sorry. Please don't sue me. I won't use it again, but I would love your permission to use it because I'm a huge fan and have been for many years. If you don't know the band, check them out, Corner Shop. And now, without further ado, please welcome my parents. Because I am His Royal Highness Anand Rajaram, it's only appropriate to bring them in by their royal titles. Here is His Royal Highness, my dad, Parasuram Rajaram, and Her Royal Highness, Visali Rajaram.
Namaskar. And welcome to the show.
Hi, namaskar, namaskar. Can you tell me what that is? What is namaskar? What is namaste?
It's just a humble greeting, welcoming you with folded hands and welcoming you to the show. Namaste.
What does it mean in Sanskrit, though? What is the actual meaning?
Nama means bow, te means to you. Namaste. So that's what it is. Some places they use namaskar, means I am bowing to you.
Okay, so what I'd heard is that the divine light in me is saluting the divine light in you. So Hinduism typically believes that there's divine energy that exists in every living creature. So when you are doing that, you're bowing to that light. That's what I've understood. Is that right?
That is true, but as I said, the common man does not easily understand that. This itself is good enough, as opposed to the Western culture where you either shake hands or you hug people. And in current situation of the coronavirus, people say, don't go close people. Just say namaste. It's a good greeting. Have a smile, say good morning or namaste with your folded hands.
Yeah, and so Ma, how often do you do this? Because I don't know that I see you do it that often. You just do it in cultural settings, right?
We do it in any setting.
No, I was asking Ma. Sorry, Dad. I'm just asking.
Normally, whenever we meet elders or anybody, any friends at a gathering, or we go for some festival or something, whenever we see, it's normal for us to say namaste. How are you?
Yeah, what I'm trying to establish, though, is that you don't do it except in specific cultural spaces. So you have a different greeting based on which space you're in.
Yeah. For example, at home, I'm not going to walk around and say namaste to dad every time, right? So whenever you meet anybody outside, that's when you say that.
Okay. What about if you lived in India? Would you ever shake hands with people?
Depending on who it is.
With family?
If they put with family, normally it's just hugs or just say namaste. But if a person puts out the hand first, I'm not going to insult them by taking my hand back. I will shake hands. Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course. I had a thought, that when people put their hands together like this, they do it in prayer. And
Yeah.
one way I imagined it is that what you're actually doing is in praying, you're hoping that your concept of God arrives to you in some way that you can bow to it and say hello. So
Yes.
basically, you're asking to say hello to God in person.
Yes,
some
that's
way.
true.
It is believed that all our nerve endings end at the tip of our fingers.
Mhm.
So when we do this, it means that all the energy is coming to you in your hands, and you're passing on energy to the next person. That's
Yeah.
what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So now let's just talk a little bit. Thank you for that. We'll talk a little bit about the monuments that are behind you. What's behind you, Amma? Can you move out of the side, over to the side, and show everybody?
That's Taj Mahal in
That's the Taj
Agra.
Mahal. Yeah.
In Agra. Yeah.
Okay. And that was and everybody knows the Taj Mahal. That's pretty famous.
Yeah.
Dad, what's behind you? Can you move to one side and show us what's behind you?
The building
Can you
that
just move to one side? Can you move like this, Dad?
yeah, the
Move.
building that you see behind me is the Gateway of India. This is in Mumbai, where it's a monument. As visitors, people go to see Mumbai. This is one of the places where they go. This was also probably the original place where people who came by sea landed around that place. Of course, the original, the current day dockyards and all that are a little farther away. But the Gateway of India is the way people were welcomed to India, and that was a monument built for that purpose.
Yeah, and that was also the British when they left. Didn't they symbolically leave through the Great Gateway of India, the last
I'm
troops or
not
something?
too sure of that, but this was built
That would have
at the
been good.
time. I'm
Would have been
not
good
sure
PR.
whether they left from that place because after the airplanes and all came, they flew out, not from Gateway of India.
No, I'm talking about in the 1940s, whether they had
Yes,
some.
yes,
Do you remember
yes.
when
The ship,
they had
I
events around there, right?
I believe so. Yes,
Okay,
I don't know the
Ma.
details.
Yeah, Ma, your dad, my grandfather, my tata, whose name is also Vishwanath. That's who I got my name from. He was a journalist,
Yes.
and so you grew up in Delhi. So you didn't. When did you see the Gateway of India for the first time?
When I married Dad, and I came
Okay,
to
so not.
Mumbai, that's the only time. Yeah.
And what about Taj Mahal?
Taj Mahal had gone because whenever we used to have visitors back home in Delhi, where I grew up,
How old were you when you saw it first? I mean,
that's difficult to remember, but I think from a very young age, maybe 4 or 5, when my parents took me along.
oh,
So, yeah.
Dad, do you remember how old were you when you saw the Taj Mahal?
Several years old, but I did not go to Taj Mahal without my wife. I took my wife and the family. I think you and Sridhar too, and you had kids, so you can't remember. That was the first time I went there. That means several years.
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Because
you went when
I
you were
lived
when you were. Sorry, go ahead.
I lived and grew up in Mumbai, and Delhi was farther away. I
So
went to
how
Delhi
old
for
were
the
you?
first time when I went to see Mom, when a
Yeah.
marriage proposal was made by family friends. We corresponded. My parents corresponded with each other, our parents, and talked about the proposed bride and the groom and
Okay,
pictures.
so wait. I'm just going to interrupt you because we're going to get to marriage
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
second.
yeah,
All I
yeah.
wanted to know is how old were you when you saw the Taj Mahal? Do you remember? Were you a child? You
No,
saw it. How
much
old were you?
later. I must have been at least about 38, 35.
Wow. Okay, that's
Yes,
a long
much
time. That's
later. Yes.
like, yeah. I mean,
It,
yeah. Because I think most people would assume you live in India. Of course, you know the Taj Mahal.
it's
Of
like
course, it's
living
so
in
famous. Of course, you
Vancouver.
know, but
Arnold,
it's a big deal.
it's living in Vancouver and not seeing the Niagara Falls after
Yeah.
years
Exactly.
of your life. So it's like Delhi was far away from Mumbai. We don't go there unless there is some reason, a wedding or some function or something. This
Yeah.
time it happened to be as a time to go and visit places. At the time,
Yeah.
I was grown up enough to understand what Taj Mahal is.
Right. What about the Gateway of India behind you? When did you go see that first? Do you remember?
I saw it when I was in my when we moved from a place called Nagpur to
How old were
Mumbai.
you?
I must have been in my teens, around 15, 14.
15. And
Yeah.
Ma, were you older than that when you went to Mumbai first time? Or are you saying you
Oh,
didn't
I
go there
went
until you met
only
dad?
after my wedding. Only after
Only
my
after you
wedding.
met dad.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to start again, and I want to talk with each of you independently a little bit about your upbringing and childhood. So, Dad, you were born first, so I'm going to start with Dad, and then I'll bring you into the conversation after, Ma. Okay, so I'm just going to step you
Okay,
out. Okay. All
sure.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hi, Dad. So,
Hi.
do you want to just give me just maybe 2 or 3 sentences about where you were born and just some things that you think are interesting?
Several years ago, I was born very, very far away from where we are now in Canada. I was born in Malaysia in a place called Johor. The reason I was born there is because that's where my mother was born. She grew up there. She got married to my dad, who's from India, and my mother went for her first delivery. I'm the first child in my family. So she went there to deliver me in Malaysia in her parents' house. And that's where I was born. And then we moved to Mumbai, and after a few years in Mumbai, we moved to a place called Nagpur, and then we came down to, to Nagpur. From Nagpur, we came to Mumbai. That's how my childhood was. And I had my higher education in Mumbai, and I also found a job, and I was working in Mumbai before I got married.
Right. Okay. Um, okay. And then can you let me see if I can pull actually. I have some files that I wanted to share. Let me see if I can just find them. There it is. Um, okay, here we go. So these were in order, but they've gotten scrambled now. That's okay. So how old were you here? Oh, sorry, you don't see it yet. Here, I'm going to share it for you. Sorry about that.
I can't see what you're trying to
Yeah,
show.
1 second. Here, there you go. How old were you here?
This picture is I must have been about 20, 22.
22. Okay. And so how old were you when you got married?
30.
Okay, so let me see if I can find there's some pictures in here, but I'm not sure which are there. Yeah, here's one. Okay. This picture. Can you see it?
No, there's no picture on the screen.
Okay. Let me share it again. There we go. Can you see that?
My God. I was too young to remember how old I was. But I'm told this picture was taken when I was just around a toddler age, maybe around 5 to 6 months old. And being a toddler, I probably could not even sit straight on a chair like that. But it appears somebody was holding from back, which you can't see. And this is the picture taken when I was just probably a few months, maybe about 5, 6 months old.
5, 6 months. Okay.
Uh,
And when this teenager picture that I showed you earlier, when you were saying you were about 15, do you remember anything about when you were 15?
Yes, I was finishing high school. I was entering college to study for my first BSc degree. So that was the time that picture was taken. Is there anything else I cannot see?
Yeah. So and then I've got. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see any picture here.
No, my mic just dropped out. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to show you one more quick picture.
Yep.
And tell me when this was.
That was a picture just before my wedding. That was a picture just before my wedding, before I got married. Which means,
Sorry.
yeah, that was the
Yeah.
picture just before my wedding. So it could be around.
Okay. I'm sorry. I've been having technical difficulties. My phone, my mic's been unplugging. Okay. Thanks for that. I'm sorry I'm rushing through this. I'm going to bring Mom in and she's going to tell us a little bit and then we're going to get talking about marriage. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hi, Ma.
Hi.
I'm going to take my camera off and reset my microphone. Can you just talk a little bit about your upper?
Sure. Okay, so I was born in Nagpur, but we moved to Delhi when I was just about a year old, I believe. And I had my schooling and college, everything in Delhi. My father was a journalist, and he used to work for Times of India. He was a parliamentary special parliamentary correspondent. So he used to travel quite a lot, and because he was a journalist, and he was pretty well known too. He had interviewed a lot of personalities like Jawaharlal Nehru, Indira Gandhi, Kamraj Nadar, a lot of people. And so he used to write in the papers. And the privilege that I had was because he was in the press, he used to get a lot of passes for different festivals and all that. So he used to take us with him. And being in Delhi, one of the beautiful memories I have is going to Republic Day Parade every year, which is held on the 26th of January. And it's a beautiful parade, and it's almost similar to the Santa Claus parade we have in Toronto. And on the 29th, 3 days after the Republic Day Parade, they have a beautiful grand ceremony called the Beating Retreat. The Beating Retreat ceremony marks the culmination of the Republic Day Parade and celebration, rather. And the purpose and the grand ceremony is held at Rashtrapati Bhavan. And it consists of with performances by bands of 3 wings of armed forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force. So Rashtrapati Bhavan is well lit, and there are people standing in different areas of the Rashtrapati Bhavan, right, on all floors with bugles and everything. And it's a sight worth seeing. When it lights up, everybody plays the bugle at the same time from no matter which corner of the building they are in. It sounds fabulous. Those are the memories I have. And other than that, as I grew up in school, I did take part in sports, and I was in Girl Guides. And also when I went to college, I was in National Cadet Corps, which is NCC. And I took part in a lot of plays, even in school and in college. So to a certain extent, I think Anand got that from me, the genes rather. So I used to be quite active in different plays and, different functions and everything. So that's a memory I have, basically.
Okay, let me just see if I can share this. Okay, it looks like it's working. Maybe it's not. Okay, let me try again. I'm trying to show, so there's a bunch of pictures that I want to show, and I don't think they're showing up. I think it's showing the wrong window. I'm sorry about this. Okay, so I'm gonna figure out the pictures in a second. But you talked up to the point of marriage, right? So I just want to bring in Dad.
Yeah.
Okay. I got very ambitious with what I was trying to do. So there are special things that we have talked about working on. So let's just work on presenting those. So you got married, and can you tell me a bit about meeting each other? Oh, I want to tell everybody at home, by the way, if you, I'll check my comments and questions now. Oh, I got 74. Okay, I'll go through them. There's comments and questions, and I want this to be an ongoing series where I talk to my parents as well as other people. So we're only going to cover a short bit here. There's a lot to come. Okay, so Mom, can you tell me, you were talking about growing up in Delhi and then doing the NCC, and then you graduated university and you were a performer in the Dramatic Society and you won that award. And then can you tell about when you met Dad?
Yeah, actually, as soon as I finished my graduation from college, the marriage proposal came through. And then Dad came over with his parents to see me in Delhi. And we met each other, and we liked each other, and we agreed upon becoming life partners. And so within a week we had the engagement ceremony, and then the wedding took place within 2 months. So in India, they don't prolong the weddings too long. Once the engagement is over, the wedding is done within a few months, if possible.
Right. Okay,
Can I
Dad,
interrupt?
yes? Yeah, of course.
The system of marriages is much, much different in our part of the world in India those days, where there are only two things people talk about: a catch marriage and a match marriage. A catch marriage is when two people like each other, want to get married. But a match marriage is when families get together and they have proposal from the boys' side for the girls' side, from the girls' side to the boys' side, and then you have a 7-point plan where parents have to like each other and the girl and the boy have to like each other. And once they agree, then they have an engagement ceremony and the wedding takes place. In between, some people believe in horoscopical match, and that is something different in certain communities. But mom and I went to see mom in Delhi. I liked her, and I said yes, I would like to get married. And so did mom. She said yes, she wants to get married to me. And we told our parents, and they fixed up a date. 2 months later, get married in New Delhi. That's how we got married.
Cool. And there was something special. I just want to show a quick picture if this will open. Let's hope. There it is. Okay. A quick picture. So can you tell me about this picture?
After we got married, we went for a honeymoon over a week in a place called Simla. Simla is supposed to be the summer capital of the old British Empire, and even now probably the government of India, because Delhi gets very hot in the month of May. And
Okay,
then,
cool. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
yeah.
Also, I just want to mention, people will be wondering, we are on a honeymoon. Why is he wearing a suit and I'm wearing a sari and all that? That's because we went for an outing and we went to a posh restaurant to have dinner. So that's the reason we are dressed up the way we are.
But that's also your reception jacket, isn't it, Dad? Like you didn't wear kurta to your reception. You wore that.
Yeah.
Because this
You're a bit of a hipster.
it's there's only two things. One is we wear a dhoti or a veshti, they call it, and that's during the ceremony. And during the reception in the evening, we wear a suit. That's how.
Yeah.
So that's the way it is even now.
Yeah.
Okay.
But women
And there was a
have gorgeous saris. For different occasions, they wear saris. Yeah.
right. I just want to ask you about these songs so you sang songs to each other, right?
Yes, I did.
So can you tell me about the song you sang to mom? This is after the wedding or on the wedding day, or when did it happen?
Now, on the wedding day, after the main wedding ceremony is over, there's a situation where where the bride and the groom are allowed to talk in along with their friends and relatives, and they ask us to, would you like to sing a song? And I sang a song which I didn't know at that time that it was mom's favorite, and I can see. And mom sang a song for me, which I didn't know that she's going to sing that song.
Okay, so here's the song. Yeah, here's the song. I'm just going to share. I'm going to share just a second or two of the song that you sang to mom. What's the name of it, Dad?
It's called "Jalte Hain Jiske Liye." It's a meaningful, very meaningful love song when the male is expressing his love for the female. And it's in a very funny situation. If you were to see the movie, it's called Sujata, in which the male character is Sunil Dutt and the female character is Nutan. And here's the song.
Yeah, I didn't share the audio. I'm going to do it again. I'm sorry, this is such a learning curve. Okay, this is the song here.
Jalte hain jiske
Okay, so
liye.
Why is she crying?
This song is a very emotional song. So the person to whom I was singing was very much moved by the expression of the words that are there. That I'm saying to her that I went around looking for a song, especially for her, and this song would light up her eyes, and she's going to feel good about it. And she was so moved. That's why she weeps.
Okay. Okay. So, and so I'm going to drop you out of this. And then, Mom, when you come back, I'd like you to tell me the song that you sang. Just 1 second. So, okay. I'm getting the other one ready. Hopefully this one will work. Nope. No, the other one has disappeared. There's another song that my mother sang. So I'm just going to prep that. and then I'm bringing my mom in. Are you ready, Mom? Okay, so here's my mother now. The song that my mother sang. Okay.
I'm singing the same song
Okay.
Dad sang.
Okay, Mom, are you there?
Ah.
Your mic, Mom, your
Yeah.
mic wasn't on. Nobody heard anything you said.
Oh,
Can
okay.
you tell?
Hold on.
Yeah, can you tell tell
Yeah.
us about the song, and then I'll share it.
Sure. I
What's
sang
it
the
called?
song called Aapki Nazaron Ne Samjha.
Okay.
And it's a love song. Just meaning that, I'm so honored that you think of me worthy of your love. And basically, it's just a romantic song.
Okay,
So it
here's
goes like
the.
this.
Yeah, wait 1 second. I'm going to play it for the audience so they see what it looks like. Oh, I didn't share the audio again. It's okay. They could see it.
आपकी नजरों ने समझा प्यार के काबिल मुझे दिल की है धड़कन ठहर जा मिल गई मंजिल मुझे आपकी नजरों ने समझा.
Okay, that was great. This works so well in rehearsal, but this is really good. That was beautiful, Ma. Thank you. So my dad is playing Dharmendra, who doesn't say anything in the video. I wanted to play the whole video, or at least a portion where it just looked really weird. Anyway, we didn't get a chance to discuss it. I'm going to step you out, and then if you can come back in your crowns. Okay. Let's see if we can get it back on track. We got 8 minutes left before this ends. So let's try and power through. They've got a couple more treats for you. Okay. So you got married in what year?
1968.
Yeah, and you just recently celebrated your anniversary.
52nd wedding
Yeah,
anniversary.
congratulations.
52nd
Thank you very much.
52nd.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so just what about the decision to come to Canada? How difficult a decision was that? How long
well,
after you got married, and how difficult decision?
10 years, no, I would say about 8 years. No, my brother, who had come to Canada even before I did, sponsored me and my family to come and live in Canada. So we got our immigration and rather landed immigrant status when we landed here. So you and your older brother Sridhar and Mom and we came to Canada in 1977. I came first in April, looked for a job, found an apartment to live.
Okay.
Then
Yeah. Okay.
family.
So I just want to focus on leaving India. That's what I'm really focused on now. So how difficult was it for you, Ma, to pack up and leave? Were you surprised by the idea, or were you okay?
It was a mixture of both. In a way, I was sad because all my family was in India, nobody here, not even a single person. Whereas for Dad, he had his brother, his family, and brother's family, and so on. And the others were going to follow us too. So, but I was okay with it, and I knew it's a new challenge, new place, and I will get used to it. And I'm very happy I did make the move. Because at some point we felt that once us children grow up, they might come abroad to study, and then we'll be left behind, which is more difficult to, meet each other and communicate and so on. So we decided to make the big move, and initially it was tough, but we did make it. Yeah,
and you were sort of familiar with Canadian culture because maybe not Canada, but with actually European culture because you knew North American movies or British movies, right?
Yes, we used to watch movies, we used to read books, novels. So we knew about the snow, we knew about the winter, we knew how the place looked like. So it didn't come as too much of a surprise, though. When you do land, you do go, wow, when you look at the supermarkets and the abundance of things and everything. And the first snow which falls, it was exciting. So we did love that. Yeah.
But in leaving it, so now there was a particular movie that both of you liked.
Yes.
What was that movie?
The Sound of Music.
The Sound of Music. And you both you saw that, but you didn't see that when you were married. You saw that before you got married.
Exactly, right. So, but when we were going to movie, we were thinking of the song Edelweiss, a scenery where, the family lives together. Of course, in that case, it was Nazis, but here it was not a Nazi. We moved on our own. But still, you love your homeland forever. So that's what we think.
This is the short clip from that. I just want to play a few minutes of that. So in this clip, Christopher Plummer, you could see he's Captain Von Trapp and the family are trying to escape. So they're doing this performance, and the officers that are trying to make sure he doesn't leave are in the audience. And then
Edelweiss, Edelweiss, every morning you greet me.
Small and white, clean and bright, you look happy to meet me.
Blossom of snow, may you bloom and grow forever.
Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
okay, that was so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to drop you both out if you can change back into your other cartoon phases. That's almost an hour. I'm so thankful to all of you for watching. I'm so thankful to the NAC, especially Amanda and Spike, for all your help, and to my cousin Dwani Chotalia, who drew the crown, which I don't know if you noticed, it's animated. My parents are as well. They're here. Their crowns are animated as well. And so Dwani made those, and she also made these cartoon faces and made the poster that you might have seen. So shout out to Dwani and to my family, to my brothers, Sridhar and Nikhil, who both provided questions. My niece Shreya also provided questions. My intention was to ask those questions in the show, but as you can see, it was a technical challenge. However, this is the launch of Saunf. It's a launch that I have a conversation with my parents, but also with all of you, with anyone who's interested. I would love to have conversations. I'd love to get to know who you are and you to meet the community in general. So this is going to be an ongoing series, inshallah. Here's hoping. I'm so incredibly, deeply grateful to my parents. Please post comments, questions, thoughts, so that we'll know how to prepare the questions and thoughts that you might have for the next time. I could see a lot of amazing comments here. I'll see if I can go through them really quickly. Deborah wrote, taking and giving the love. When you, Craig wrote, when your animated mask lifts off, freaks me out. A deep metaphor. Yes, and this is a metaphoric idea. I was talking to my parents about an idea called Maya, which is the illusory nature of reality, that the reality you see is not really the reality you see. And physics are telling you the same thing. Well, this is a manifestation of the same idea. We're transmuting identity and letting our stories speak through whatever mask we have on. And so listen to the story. The mask maybe helps you ingest the story, but listen to the story. The mask is secondary. So thank you to everyone who responded. Beautiful song. Thank you. I don't see any questions here. A lot of great comments. You know what? The best thing is maybe go on YouTube and go on Facebook, and you can see the comments yourselves. I'm sorry, a cursory scan. I'm not seeing questions. I don't know if I'm missing one. But it's so delightful to see everybody. When I get better at this, I will be featuring all of you in the chats. Thank you so much, all of you. Here's my niece. I don't know if I can share this. Yes, this is my niece Shreya wrote, I would love to hear about Pati and Taz's experience in the cadets. Yeah, and I think we'll do a whole chapter that will feature about the cadets. So thank you for that, Shreya. So please stay tuned to my Facebook and to my YouTube. Subscribe, like, follow, share, whatever. If you feel like donating to this show, it's Saunf, SAUNF. And we never got to explaining what that is. I'll see if I can do it in a second. It's a breath freshener. But saunf.live@gmail.com. But also, please donate to BLM. Please donate to the Regis Korchinski Packet Fund. Please donate to legal funds for people who need you, especially for Aboriginal communities and marginalized people. Thank you so much for watching. This has been the sort of premiere episode of Saunf.
Thank you
And
so much.
thank you, everybody, for watching. And thank you, National Arts Center. And Anand, we are proud of you.
Anand,
Keep
we are very
going.
proud of what you did. Thank you.
Yeah, and keep going.
Thank you. I know you wanted to. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay.
And for putting
Bye,
up with our
no, you've been amazing.
ignorance about the technology. Yeah.
You've been
Anyway,
amazing. You've been really amazing. And
Yeah.
I thank you so
we
much for
learned a
being here.
lot.
I
Thank
owe
you.
everything to you.
With all these lenses, you have put us more on focus.
Yes. So, yes, hope to talk to you all soon. Please stay
Yeah.
safe.
Thank you.
And please love each other. And as my niece says, wash your hands. Bye.
Yes.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.